Hi guys, I hope all is well. Shani on here. I am going to make a milk fudge with a bit of vanilla flavorings in it. I am using pure vanilla extra from an essence house. It's clear, right? If you haven't come across one of my videos or demos where I spoke about if you are doing certain things, try your best to get the clear essence and the essence houses. If you want more info on what I mean by the essence houses, comment below and I will reply in a timely manner, I guarantee that. So when you are baking, right, let's say you are doing a batch of cookies and it's white cookies, but yet it calls for vanilla essence or extract, ask for clear vanilla. Same with your white cakes and so forth, that might call for anything clear that you are going to bake, right? Even drinks, ask for the clear vanilla, because remember the regular vanilla is of that kind of caramel, dark, very dark brown color, almost like dark, like black, you know. Yes, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. But for this demo, you are going to need 3 cans of carnation, sweetened condensed milk or any condensed milk of your choice. Just make sure whichever one you're using is equivalent to the 3 cans of condensed milk, right? You're going to need some vanilla extract. You're going to need 3 cups of granulated sugar. You are going to need 3 cups of granulated sugar, right? Let me just, you know, I simplify everything for you all, and you're going to need 3 tablespoons of butter. I make things very simple for you all, right? So if we watch what I call so far, I call 3 cans of milk, I call 3 cups of sugar, I call 3 tablespoons of butter. It's 3 in everything, right? It's 3 in everything. It is. All right. If you just probably might say, Shamian, I only want to do a little bit of fudge. I want to test first. 1 can of milk, 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of granulated sugar, and 1 tablespoon of butter. If you want to double up on this recipe, you know to just keep doing it to suit how much you are making it for. I hope you all understood that. So what I'm saying in essence is, if you are using 1 milk, you will need 1 cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of butter, and so forth and so forth and so forth to build the recipe depending on how much you want it to serve. Right? I believe you all understood that. So it's just that simple. The essence, you don't want to go crazy with it, but you want nice flavorings coming through there. Right? You really don't want to go crazy with it. Right? So I'm going to start now. As you can see, I have already opened 2 of my milk. I'm just going to open the last can. It happens. These tools, it happens. So that's why I took the work out of it earlier, and the arm of it is magnetic, so it may look like I'm fighting with it, I'm not. Right? It happens with these things. Right? Sorry, my hand blocked off everything, but I have to play it safe because it is a electronic can opener. It's magnetic, and you know condensed milk, even if you open it with a traditional opener, it starts to run. Right? We have this nice clean color. This is some really good milk cake. It's white. You know, sometimes you get it and it's a bit discolored. You always see the milk just now. Yeah. So I'm gonna start. So what you want to do to start, let me just wipe up a bit with a food safe wipe. You want to put everything into a saucepan, right? Just get everything in there. It doesn't matter in which order you get things in there. Right? Just start pouring everything. The milk, as I say, sometimes you get it is this color. I'm already starting to pour the milk in there. Right? It doesn't matter in which order. This fudge, we are not baking. We are just making fudge, so we can get away with a lot of stuff. Right? So there goes 1 can. I'm going to just use my spatula, my pink spatula to get out stuff. To get all the milk out of the can properly. Right? So there goes 1. Yep, 1, and I'm going to just add the other 2 because remember I said how much I was using, right? That's 1, 2, don't think I'm promoting Nestle. I'm not. They don't pay me. I just happen to prefer what I prefer brand-wise and so forth, and I'm very transparent with you all by calling which brand I'm using, that's all. They don't pay me. It's not a sponsored show that I call Nestle all the time. I just happen to love a couple of their products. Right? There goes my third can. This milk is so nicely colored. It's really impressive. Because you know, when you're buying these things, you don't know what you're going to get, right? But I'll suggest something. When you are buying goods, buy from somewhere that's always full of people that get a lot of sales, because your turnover is going to be fast. You won't have anything sitting for too long, right? But the heat and so forth, and depending on how the vendors store it, I'm going to add the sugar now. And depending on how the vendors store it is what causes this discoloration. If it's close to the ground, that could happen, right? So the 3 cups of sugar goes in now, followed by my 3 tablespoons of butter. Right? You can imagine the overkill of sweet. You know, when we get fudge, it's always really sweet. You see why now, right? Because it's butter, it's sugar, and it's condensed milk. Well, the butter isn't sweet. I just wanted to go for a bit before I add the essence. Right? The butter isn't sweet, of course. The butter is to give it that nice balance, sort of like that salty, creamy, nice, you know. But you will see how much sugar goes into fudge, and the condensed milk, it is made using sugar, of course. Right? So the goal with it is you want this to boil up somewhat. Right? There are some techniques that you could place it in the microwave and it is just as good. Right? You just want the butter to boil up. All the ingredients, I said butter, sorry. You need all the ingredients to be combined, boiling up. That's just the goal with it. Until it's of a certain consistency. The milk is all over literally. It's a nice stir. So you just want to turn it a bit. Right? By the time the vanilla goes in there, the whole kitchen is going to smell of that beautiful vanilla scent. But you want to be gentle because it could, you know, I'm trying to, you know, with these sweet stuff what happens, right? So I'm trying not to make too much of a mess because it's always sticky or tacky, and you know, I don't want it to create too much of a mess. It's looking just lovely. Right? So we want, of course, at this stage, put up your fire a bit. It's a non-stick pan that I'm using, right? So you want to do this until it starts to boil up a bit. You will know when it's ready. It's almost like you start seeing it's almost like it already smells lovely. You start seeing these, it's like little pieces of fudge, like little fudge balls inside the pot once it's ready to be removed from the heat. That's the best way to describe it or explain it. It's like little balls of fudge you start seeing forming in the pot, right? So you will know when it's ready. When it's done in the microwave, I did it some time ago, about a year ago in the microwave, it's just as good. It's just as good in the microwave. Right, so you can leave it at this stage, let it just boil up a bit, right? I'm going to throw in the essence now, the vanilla, pure vanilla essence. If you can get the vanilla beans down here, by all means, if you know where you can get it to buy, use it. I know a place that sells, that have it for sale. If you're interested, comment below and I'll tell you where. Don't say we don't get those things in Trinidad. We literally could access anything now in Trinidad, which is so good. You get the vanilla bean to buy down at a particular place, still in the pot. They won't even clean it for you. Right? So literally everything we can get down here. So it isn't ready quite yet. Right, but all the sugar is like dissolved. You seen it? Our sugar, it dissolved. So when we see it starts to resemble fudge within this pot, like little balls and beads of fudge, we know it is ready to be beaten with a wooden spoon or electric mixer and go into the dish to set. Of course, I'm gonna show you all of that. You guys know, right? And you know, I'm gonna show you. So just keep watching. So guys, this is what you should have. You see it's already of that nice color that fudge is known for, caramelized color. I had to change pots, right? You all didn't see me change the pot, but I had to change pot, and it's okay for you to get those brownish particles in it, right? So at this stage is where you wanna take it off, right? This is where the mixing, the work starts. You have to mix it until it starts to resemble more of a toffee consistency, right? Because the air is going to be incorporated in it. Be very careful. This thing is ridiculously hot and it's like an adhesive. See? It's really like an adhesive. This is the quality of what we have. The spoon is too much of the same color, so let me bring it up with a traditional spoon for you all to see. See the volcanic action in there? See any kind of volcanic action? Look at how it's holding onto the spoon. You don't want to mess around with this at all. This is like, oh God, I don't even want to explain what could happen if this gets on the skin. Be very careful, have no children around or pets or so forth, right? Be very careful. Make sure no one is behind you either, right? So as I was saying, you're gonna have to mix this with a spoon, like literally keep doing this with a spoon. Be careful though, until it starts to resemble toffee. You are Trinidadian, you know what toffee looks like, especially if you were born like in the 80s and going back. You know what is toffee. It's what you American guys will call the fruit chews. We call that toffee here in the Caribbean, right? So it's ridiculously hot, right? I just want to show you all what I'm going to put my own in. I am going to put it in a baking dish. I am going to use some professional quality unbleached parchment paper, right? If you have what is known as grease-proof paper, use that. If not, you'll have to grease up, right? This is the color of it, it's almost the color of the box, right? So that is what I'm going to use. I'm going to also use my electric whisk and a dish this size. Remember the fudge is cut, right? Of course, I will have more than one with that because fudge is of a certain height. So I'm going to do about half the dish. Of course, I will have more than one set of fudge, right? And so forth and so forth. I'm getting ready so that I could start showing you guys. But again, if you don't have this tool, probably if you have a cake mixer, a hand mixer or a stand mixer, right? And it could detach, you use that, right? Feel free to use that. But this you want to is really a spoon. Most persons mix it with a wooden spoon. So that's it. So remember I said it's in the bowl already, but I'm going to mix it in with the electric tool. Right? My own is already, you see that? I don't have much work to do because I let it go and go and go. Don't worry about the brown particle, guys. No brown, nothing was used there. That's just the way the sugar started to caramelize, and that's how it looks, right? I'm gonna have to play it safe with this device in this bowl because it's not too much of a deep bowl, right? So I'm gonna have to start on a low speed. Remember, it's hotter, but if you don't own this tool, remember what I said. If you have your traditional, let me just stop to speak. if you have your traditional cake mixer or hand mixer, you have to use that. If you don't, use a wooden spoon. If you don't have a wooden spoon, use your regular pot spoon. You guys know I try to do things in a way and teach so that everybody is included. I don't exclude anyone. I don't want to send you all into any expenses, right? Long ago, back in Trinidad, this is a Trinidad thing, by the way, Fudge. Yes, we knew it. Long ago, it didn't fuss much, and we had like really good quality stuff, right? It's hot, guys, be careful. We are nowhere close to ready. I'm showing you all. Remember what I said, it have to resemble. If you are Trinidadian, it have to resemble toffee. If you are an international person, you happen to come across this demo, it's going to have to resemble what you all know as fruit chews, right? I wouldn't call it brand that comes to mind, but you all know what fruit chews is. I was just testing it on the other speed, but it's a bit too much. So I will have to take my time on this level, on this stage, and do it. If you won't want it too well, good for you. So we're gonna keep going with it until it resembles the texture that it needs to be, okay? So guys, this is where we reach. Remember I was telling you all have to resemble toffee? This is where you want it to reach before you put it to set, right? So it looks a lot like toffee. The texture is perfect. It tastes good. I taste it. You all know I don't kid you all, right? Right? This is what you want. This is what you want and need before you put it to set. It's gonna take a while to set, right? So you're gonna put it to set. I'm going to put it in the dish now that I'm going to set it in. Alright, I'm just going to remove my attachment. Having your tools is very important. You all hear me say that all the time, right? I'm not kidding when I say that. Right? If you don't have parchment paper, just like, because the parchment paper, it's a bit, it's fighting a bit miserable, right? So if you don't have the parchment paper, just grease your dish. It is super hot. If you are using a bowl, a steel bowl like I am using, you still want to be careful, right? So get a spatula and you start pouring it in. But you have to move somewhat quick also because you don't want it to set in the wrong container. Like let's say in this bowl, I don't want it to set in there because there's not where I'm going to leave it. So once it reaches that toffee consistency, get it out as fast and as soon as possible. Fast and soon is the same thing more or less. We speak like that in Trinidad also, you know. There are a couple of words that we are redundant with. We will say just a little tiny bit. Things like that. It's a Trini thing. Some of our Trini friends, even though they're not, they hear who are wrong or some other nations, they enjoy it, you know. They really enjoy it. The fact that we say things, a lot of stuff that's just a bit hilarious at times. At times we say reverse back. You know, those are words that I don't think we should say those things, but we do. It's a part of who we are, you know. It is who we are as a people, right? So back to this fudge. It was just amusing you all a bit, right? This is exactly what the 3 cans gave. We have to smooth it out. I have to smooth it out with a spatula, right? This is exactly what the 3 cans of milk give us. At this stage, I'm going to smooth it out at the top because you don't want it to set rough, right? But remember, I spoke about it's already setting, and you guys are seeing that it's moving like it's already set. That's the difference having your tools made, whichever trade you are in, right? Or skill, have your tools because it is already setting. I want the top to be smooth. You could use the back of a spoon also. I will use a spoon and see what happens. A traditional spoon. You can use, you see, because you want it so smooth. Yeah. So I'm trying to get it like really smooth, like the way I want it. That's all I'm doing right now. But our fudge didn't go by very quickly, didn't it? It went by quickly, and I'll tell you something. If I wasn't using, this is a pie server by the way. If I wasn't using my electric whisk, it would not have gone by this quickly. I'm telling you all. I'm being real with you all. You see that wooden spoon thing? You see the people from long ago? We must not take them for granted, you know. We must not take them for granted. I could well imagine how long it used to take long ago to get one batch of fudge going. Because you have to do it with your hands, with a wooden spoon, the power of your hands. The pace of how fast or so your hand moves, that's how soon you're going to have the fudge. These things wasn't easy, you know, guys. I tell you all that. You know, these old school people, the mature folks, the seniors, they deserve all the love they can get. Because they made do with what they had. Nothing was never an issue for these guys. Nothing. They didn't have a blender? No problem. We use the grater. They didn't have a washer? No problem. We use it, what is called in Trinidad here, the joking board. Right? Everything they made with what they had. And I could tell you, we had some good stuff back in the day, all the same. I could tell you all that. And remember, I might be making this just for a demo for my small family. Imagine these people will have been doing this to sell for a living. The amount of fudge we'll have had to put out. We had it. I'm really thankful for the advancement of technology, and I'm thankful that I'm alive in this time. We don't know how easy life is for us, and yet we complain, right? So it's about here is where we want it to be, right? Remember, I said if you don't have the parchment paper, I did say that, right? So please use just grease your butter, not with oil, so it will still have that nice buttery flavor. Use margarine. Use margarine to get it into your bowl. You see with the paper now it's going to give me control because I can just lift it out, right? These are going to be some like thick fudge. Yeah, some nice size fudge, because this is like a Pyrex style loaf pan, right? So it's going to be some huge fudge, but you know, you want to leave it for quite a while. Of course, I'm going to show you guys when I'm cutting it and all of that, but this is only just the beginning of this. But my own is going to cool faster, right? It's going to cool down a lot faster, because you all see, look at like this for instance, it's already set more or less. Remember, because I use the electric whisk, so it is already set right there, believe it or not, right? But if you want and your top isn't as smooth enough as with cakes and so forth, you know, you can always reverse which becomes the top and which becomes the bottom, right? The underneath, right? So if it isn't too smooth, you know, and you want to present it properly, if you're having something and you want to, you know, impress people, just flip it, and the smooth part of the underneath or below, the bottom of it could literally become the top, right? So guys, it's that easy to do it, right? Of course, I'm going to show you guys the slicing of it, because we want it in some nice even squares, clean cut squares. So we want it to go to cool right down. There are a lot of fudge recipes that calls for having a candy thermometer and all these things. I use none of the above. Just really good judgment, and the only thing I will say that I use that I don't notice anyone else use is my electric tool to get it going. Right, that's about it, my electric whisk. Now that is a device, I didn't just get it as a whisk. For those of you that might be asking, you could inquire below. I didn't get it as a whisk. That is a 3-part attachment tool. If you look at my other demos, you would notice that I am using it also as a mini processor, food processor, and there is also an emulsion swizzle stick attachment to it. So it was a 3-in-1 device, really it was, and for me it was well worth becoming the owner of it. I can't imagine life without this tool right now, right? But so this is how so easy it is. I want to say again, the flash wrap, anything isn't in messing up the color of the parchment paper. I am using professional grade unbleached parchment paper. So the color you see here is the color it is. It's almost like the color of the fudge itself. I kid you not, right? Because you're talking these things on a professional scale, and I want to teach you all the right stuff. But I said greaseproof paper can work. So this is the actual. If you want to know why I got it too, I purchased it, also comment below. So this is the color that it is. It's almost like what we will call brown paper here in Trinidad. It's the color of that kind of thing, you know, that we will cover the books with, but it isn't that thick, of course, right? So guys, start to finish, this is my fudge. I hope you guys see how easy it was. Of course, I still have to slice it to show you guys some clean even slices. If you ever try any of my recipes, let me know. If you're having an issue with anything, also let me know, so I can tell you, you know, what you can adjust, or you know what you could do, or so forth and so forth. You all know I reply in a timely manner always. I guarantee you all that I reply in a timely manner, right? So we have about one more step to go with this fudge, which is the slicing of it, but you want to let it cool down, of course, right? And then we go from there. So far so good. This is what we have with our milk fudge that have some vanilla flavorings in it, right? So this is what we have. We will see it to the end, of course. So guys, this is where our fudge, the fudge that I did, is very rich, right? Let me touch it. It's not too firm, it's not too soft. It's a really good texture, so I'm going to cut it, right? It's going to be some huge fudge. I think whoever is having this fudge might want to leave it to, you see the middle is still a bit soft, right? But you have to cut it. You don't want it to set fully and it isn't cut, because you're going to end up with some problems if you don't do that, right? And maybe a little tippy, if you have non-stick spray your knife. A knife is better to cut it with, right? Just give your knife a little spray. As I said, it's going to be some huge fudge. It's going to be easy to cut it in if you're a person that doesn't really love the sweet stuff, you can always cut it in half after here. You understand what I'm saying? I know you all understand what I'm saying. It's very easy what I just said to understand. Right? If your kids summer will help you in the kitchen, always make sure that they are safe, please. This is not something that I will really want kids to handle. This and sugar and oil and so forth, because when this is hot, it's of a different kind of temperature, right? So here is where I'm going to get it out. The thing with using the parchment paper, the unbleached parchment paper, is that it's going to make it very easy for me to get it out of here. It's okay if some is uneven and so forth. The texture of the fudge is just perfect, right? Really perfect. I want to hear how you all won't come out when you all give it a try, right? Anybody that try it, let me know how it turns out. So this is the part about using the parchment paper and so forth that I really appreciate and love. These are some huge fudge. This is a couple pounds of fudge well on this paper. It's solid, right? And from here, I'm just going to get it onto my plate, of course. So like these pieces, they are too big for me to consider fudge, so you just do this, right? You saw easy the knife, effortlessly the knife went through that, right? So it's like this. I'm going to spin it. It's still a bit warm. Like I said, this is the stage to cut it, because then you will not have what you are looking for. It's going to be too like brick hard to cut. This is the texture. It's perfect, right? And you just start packing it onto your plate or tray or whatever you have. This is going to be too big to serve one person, like I said. So you always start by getting it in half, and then you can always do your smaller pieces, right? I just want to show you all an extreme close-up of it. It's very nice texture. It's still warm too, right? So to make the time go by faster, I'm just going to start cutting it in half because it's a lot of fudge. It's a couple pounds well, I can tell you all that. When you deal with food a lot, you know, just by averaging and so forth. Even this piece is quite huge still. Right? Of course, once it cools down even further, it's going to get hard, and this is why it's going to stiffen up, like how we know fudge should be. Some persons love it, like fudge, or enjoy it rather, when it's like not too hard or not too soft. I know some persons that don't like it when it's too soft either. So this is a nice go between at this texture for persons that don't like it too firm or too soft. Right? I'm just cutting it up to show you guys. Right? We have nothing sticking onto our parchment paper and so forth. Don't let it dry too much before you cut. You want to have issues with it. You don't want to cut it too hot, you don't want to cut it too cold, because either way you're going to run into issue. About here is where you want to start cutting it up. And if you ask me, they are still too huge, certain pieces of it. Because remember, this was made with sweetened condensed milk, and then we added 3 cups of sugar in there, so it's like an overload. Right? You see how clean and nice. I'm glad I am on the paper so you guys are able to see how it's just cutting clean. I didn't even butter the knife or use non-stick spray on the knife, and yet we have it going through so effortlessly. It's perfect fudge. And expect it to do some hardening once you leave it. Expect it to stiffen up a bit. Or like if it stays for about a day, it should get firm. Don't put it in plastic at this stage. I would suggest you leave it to cool for quite a while before you think about putting it in any plastic free containers or bags. Right? Just to let this go right down. The middle is quite warm still. This is the part that requires some patience, but don't cut corners at this stage. If you don't use an electric whisk like me, it makes no sense you cutting corners when it's time to cut up the fudge. Because you did all the hard work already when you had to get it to the toffee texture. So now you don't want to cut corners, you want to follow through. Right? Don't cut corners at all. Just follow through with cutting it up. Take your time and cut it up. If you are in a hurry, I suggest you might have to put off what you have to do for just a couple of minutes just to take your time to slice your fudge. Because like I said, I just want to reiterate and say again that if you don't cut it at this stage about here, you could end up with issues. You would not get the clean, nice cuts. You know, a lot of times when people make things at home, it's not of the same texture or the same final product as when they purchase it outside. And what causes that is simple little things. You don't follow through with taking your time to cut it up when it's a certain temperature. You are not going to have those clean, nice cuts like I have. I see some really good fudge that tastes really good, and I know for a fact that they cut it when it was like brick hard, and that's why it wasn't clean cut. Right? It's okay to have all different shapes and so forth. Right? I'm just going to give this one a cut in half again because it's quite huge. Right? It's okay to have different sizes and so forth. Remember, I spoke about letting air get in it. Let me just bring it center stage, so to speak. I spoke about letting it cool down to a certain degree and so forth before you cut it, but not too cold, because then you will run into problems getting it clean cut or cutting clean pieces. So you see how much fudge that one batch that I prepared on this demo gave us, right? It's quite a lot of fudge. That's well over 20 pieces right here. It's a lot of fudge. We have different sizes for the persons that might not be into the sweet. There are persons that they won't enjoy too sweet. Because, you know, I'm just saying again that it's really sweet condensed milk and sugar. A lot of sugar was used. Granulated sugar. Right? So you see that 3 cans of condensed milk, 3 tablespoons of butter, and 3 cups of white sugar. You see how much fudge we have from that. Like fudge that could feel like a literal party or get together. It's a lot of fudge. could feed a party with this. A house get together or so could be fed very comfortable with this. Right? So don't be intimidated, guys. My thing with all these demos that I do, I have a goal with them, believe it or not, and it's to take off the intimidation factor with food. That's my goal. If anyone is to ask me, Shamion, why do you do the demos? Apart from it being a passion of my own, I want to be able to, for people to say, okay, that was easy. That's my goal. I want people to say that when I do a demo. Okay, that was really easy. That's what I want, and that's what I expect to hear. So I always look before I come on demo for the easiest way to do something for you all. I always look for that. I always look for that, you know. You guys see how much fudge? We're gonna do a run of this page for you all to see how much fudge there is. So guys, I was saying that my goal is always for people to try it and get the same results like I do. I get a lot of feedback from persons that try my recipes, watch my demos, and they have perfection results. So I want the same for everyone that watches my videos. If you need assistance, comment below. I will answer you in a timely manner. This is the final product of our fudge. You see how much fudge we got from that one batch, right? It was my pleasure doing this demo for you all. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did putting it together for you all. As always, the business is on Facebook, it's on Instagram, it's on YouTube, of course. That's where all the videos pass through before it goes to any social media platform. And of course, we have an email address to the business, which is foodbyshamion, or common letters @gmail.com. Right? That spelling of Shamion, it is my first name. It is spelled Chamion. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching, all your support. I'll be with you guys soon. Bye.